The governor says he will not raise taxes and is pushing state labor unions to pay more for health care benefits. And tonight, those unions are furious. And we sat down with some of those state union leaders tonight to get their side of this story. News 8's Bob Wilson in studio tonight with what they had to say. And they're angry, Bob, right?
Yeah, you know, Darren, we sat down one-on-one with 3 of them, and they really did give us a peace of mind, and they did open up to exactly what they're thinking right now. They said, you know what, these layoffs are a lot different than layoffs in the past. As a matter of fact, in the past, they've rehired the employees they laid off. They say this time around, they believe the governor is shrinking government, and those layoffs, those people who lose their jobs will not get them back. Thank you guys very much for coming down. I appreciate it. What's it been like for your membership?
We had 2 firefighters that worked at CVH Hospital for the past couple of decades. One is 11 months away from retirement. The other one is 2 years away from retirement. They both had layoff notices yesterday. They were handed the notices and they were walked out the door.
So they don't get a pension?
At the moment, they don't get a pension.
I have a woman actually who's 8 months pregnant, and she fears that she's on the list to be laid off, which she's right, she's very low. And so there, you know, if you could just imagine that poor woman, she's having to go through the stress and stuff of not knowing. You know, there's the scary part about this whole thing. You got firemen that are, you know, losing their spots, and same thing with police, you know, probation officers who have to do stuff. It's very scary out there, and we're worried not only for the citizens of Connecticut, but also for our members.
Where do you think the greatest risk will be to the public?
Well, there's 44,000 people on probation in Connecticut, right? And there's about 700 probation officers. So we lose 100 probation officers. Now our caseloads are going to increase. We're not going to be able to get out into the community and have the quality of contact with our offenders. And it puts the public at risk because these are individuals who have made mistakes and maybe dangerous that are going to be out in the community unsupervised.
Are they saving money?
I think on the piece of paper, it saves money. Yeah, when you got, you know, 1 million over here and you're taking 1 million over here, you're absolutely correct. But you're not factoring in all the other stuff that's down the list.
No one likes overtime costs because they feel it drives up state employees' salaries, it drives up state employees' pensions. The problem is that if you don't hire, you don't staff, and then you lay off on top of that, this overtime cost is getting it out of control. The members right now, they don't want to work the overtime. They don't want to work all the extra shifts. They want to have a life outside of work.
Our members look at us and say, okay, we went in good faith and bargained. You asked us for concessions. We gave. We signed a contract. But it's like a paper angel because it doesn't mean anything, but you keep continuously coming back.
After the 2011 CBEC agreement was signed, Governor Malloy came out and said that the signing of this agreement will save the state of Connecticut $20.5 billion over the next 20 years. Here we are 4 or 5 years later with a $900 million deficit. And yet, he comes back to us and wants to open up the same agreement that thought he was going to save all this money on. I don't see it happening.
You know, if your dad and your mom, and it's easy to go to dad for the money, who do you go to? You always go to dad. Dad, can I have $5? Dad, can I have $5? Well, when dad says no, you're not going to mom, right? And this is our problem. We're sitting here saying, quit coming to us. We don't have it. It's not going to work.
And the union leaders say the membership wants them to hold their ground on this. Just so you know where they're coming from, 2 of those 3 leaders were actually laid off. Last time there were cuts, they were hired back 6 months later, and they say they don't believe the jobs are coming back this time. Darren?